This week I did something I never thought I'd do. I watched The Fast and the Furious. Now, I hear you asking, Louis, do you like cars? I didn't know you like cars. I don't. I don't drive. I can appreciate a good-looking car, but that's about it. Also, please ignore the fact I have a tickly throat. My brother gave me a cold, and there's nothing I can do about it. I don't want to hear any of it. I do like a good 2000s action movie. I do love a good soundtrack, and I adore Michelle Rodriguez with all of my being. And let me tell you, The Fast and the Furious has all three of those things. I will be using clips, because I have to use clips, because so much of it is goofy, but I'm really scared to get copyright claimed, so they've been mirrored and sped up. Gotta do what you gotta do. Also, yes, I know you're admiring it. I did get my hair done today. Shout out Claire. Without further ado, let's get on to this. Let's get on to The Fast and the Furious 2001, because I took 2,000 words of notes while watching. And you're gonna listen to all of them. Let's ride. Let's ride. We start off immediately with the most 2000s credits I've ever seen in my life, with added car sound effects. In case you forgot, it's a car movie. There's some vague talking about a deal.
I wasn't really listening.
And some very obvious Panasonic product placement. Then it's the cars. The cars have arrived. They're hijacking the Panasonic truck. They're kind of like ninjas, which isn't entirely what I was expecting, but I'm digging it. Blah blah, there's some fighting and a car chase. Bam, cut. Paul Walker is zooming around a racetrack in a bright green car. He's wearing Converse, which I appreciate, but he's so attractive. So attractive it makes me ill. It actually annoys me more than appeals to me to look at him. In a different car, a red one, he pulls up to Toretto's and orders
tuna on white, no crust, right?
Which he has for the last 3 weeks, every day. I'm judging his sandwich choice, but more importantly, Mia Toretto works it, as does Vin Diesel. Sorry I'm touching my hair so much, by the way. Did you know I got my hair done today? I want to take a minute to appreciate how orange everything is in this film. Bring back stylistic colour grading because everything looks boring nowadays. I want more orange. I want more green. Michelle Rodriguez, who is coincidentally the love of my life, then pulls up in the whip with the rest of the gang. Leon, Vince, and Jesse. And Jesse is played by Ash from Supernatural. Which is crazy because I kind of thought all those minor characters in Supernatural were just in that and nothing else, but I suppose that's not really how acting works. Vince likes Mia, who's working behind the bar making those crappy tuna sandwiches, so he calls Paul
sandwich crazy? No, V, he ain't here for the food, dog.
And picks a fight. But only after Leon and Jesse admire how beautiful Paul is for like 10 seconds, which is fair. I would be too, but I'd be more aggressive about it. Everyone is very sweaty. Vince calls Paul the F-slur. It's all very 2000s. And then Vin Diesel, who is Dom Toretto, wanders up and he breaks up the fight because he's big, scary, and bald. We find out Paul is called Brian Earl Spillner, which is correctly described as a serial
killer name.
And he almost gets fired by his boss, Harry, through Dom. But they work it out somehow, I don't know. Something happened. I also don't know what NOS is, but they talk about it quite a lot. Make car go fast, I believe.
Make car go really fast.
Make car go fast and furious. Brian pulls up to the first car race of the movie. Rollin' by Limp Bizkit is playing, there's people everywhere, and a montage to prove this. He gets called a snowman by a guy called Hector, who's another racer, but he's not currently racing. And he meets a guy called Edwin, who starts talking about himself in the third person and says, Edwin knows.
It's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race your car.
Yes, Edwin is Ja Rule. Brian puts his car up on the race because he's a broke bum who doesn't have any money. His car also looks goofy as hell compared to everyone else's because it's bright green. But whatever floats your boat, I guess. Jesse just info dumps some car stuff, but
I don't know about cars, so I wasn't listening.
Brian ends up racing Edwin, Dom, and an as of yet unnamed but very beautiful Asian man. There's a lot of setup and a lot of revving and about 4 minutes of beeping and zooming. And it's all very masculine, except this one shot of Brian jiggling about, which I have to show you because it made me laugh. He destroys his car in the process, but he almost wins. But of course he doesn't. Vin Diesel does. Side note, Dom and Letty are dating. Letty is Michelle Rodriguez. Realise I didn't actually introduce her as Letty. She's called Letty. There's some
Macho
dialogue of Dom saying Brian's shit, Mia's smiling in the crowd to set up some kind of stupid romance plotline. But then the cops arrive, so everyone scrams. Dom's trying to escape on foot and thinks putting on a leather jacket is going to save him from being seen. But of course it doesn't, because that's Vin Diesel. Then Brian pulls up in a whip, saves the day, saves Dom, crashes into a couple of police cars while they're driving away. We find out Brian did 2 years in juvie for boosting cars. I don't know what that is. And Dom did 2 years hard time for what? We don't know. But then some more, as of yet unnamed Asian guys, pull up next to the two of them and they have guns. They take them to this very stereotypically Chinese looking building with this statue. Just in case we forgot they're Asian. Guys, did you know that beautiful Johnny Tran and his gang are Asian? This is Johnny Tran. His cousin Lance is wearing snakeskin trousers, which makes no importance to the plot, but I wanted to point it out because they pointed it out. There's beef. They shoot up Brian's car, but there's NOS inside of it, so it explodes. It's blue. It is pretty cool. Mia's not like the other girls, since she's writing and reading while there's a party going on downstairs, which is lame as hell. Dom appears back. He's pissed at everyone, obviously, because they abandoned him. He takes Vince's beer and gives it to Brian. It's all very macho and a bit homoerotic. Next in my notes was just a God, I love Michelle Rodriguez. So there's that. Also, Brian now owes Dom a 10-second car since his car was shot up by the beautiful Asians. Brian's cruising, he's driving along, but oh shit, it's the cops. But oh shit, he's an undercover cop. He's on some kind of sting operation to get Dom for the hijackings. I don't know what's in it for him. It was probably mentioned, but... More importantly, we find out Dom almost beat a guy to death. Now at a garage, Dom wants Brian to race so he can get money off him, and he introduces Race Wars in the Desert, which is an interesting name. We find out Jesse is really good with computers. We also find out he's got diva fashion sense. He was in a very tight little sleeveless number and I adored it. But he's good with computers, he's good with cars, he failed all of his exams, he's got ADD. Engines calm him down, whatever bro. Also at the family barbecue I realised he had little painted nails and I just wanted to share that with you all. Vince kisses Dom on his big bald head and there's more homoerotic beer drinking. While snooping around checking if Hector, previously mentioned, has got the cars that were involved in the hijacking operation, he gets caught by Vince and Dom. Dom emerges out the shadows like a cartoon supervillain, which made me laugh. But also, really nice cinematography, and I should have done that for my cinematography project. But that's besides the point. Vince thinks he's a cop, but Brian convinces them that he was just checking out the competition. Dom asks Brian if he's a cop. He obviously says no. The three find the same Panasonic cargo that was shown at the beginning while snooping around Johnny Tran's. They also watch as Johnny waterboards a man called Ted with gasoline.
It's horrible to watch.
They're talking about engines. I don't really know. But Brian reports this to his higher-ups, and it was at this point I found out they were DVD players. Didn't know what they were. Also quite a lot of hassle over some DVD players, but I guess that's 2001 for you. As Dom's showing Brian a really fast car or something, we find out that the man he almost beat to death caused his own dad's death. It was the last race of the season. Kenny Linder clipped the bumper of his dad's car and sent him into a wall at 120. Sent him in a wall.
Put him in a wall at 120.
Dom's banned from the tracks, his dad burned to death, he almost killed a guy who's now a janitor who takes the bus. I really don't care about the romance plotline, but in case you did, Brian and Mia are at a Cuban restaurant. There's some exposition about how they all met, it doesn't really matter. And then she drives a car fastly and furiously, because did you know, women can drive too! The cops decide they're going to move on Johnny. Brian and Mia get freaky, Dom and Letty get freaky. Letty has wonderful arms. They're a very attractive couple, but I also did find myself thinking, has Vin Diesel ever had hair? The feds raid Trans, But it turns out they bought the DVD players, which means Brian now has 36 hours. Snakeskin Lance gets launched into the air and it means nothing to the plot, but it was really funny because he was genuinely about a foot off the ground. I thought for a second that Brian was going to get into the pool fully clothed, that they have a pool at the station for some reason, but there were steps. His boss, who I don't know the name of and don't care to, tells him he's going to have to choose a family. He gets a little introspective. You can see it because there's ripples reflecting on his face.
You'll mind if a white boy gets a little introspective by the pool?
Brian wants in on whatever Dom's doing, since he obviously doesn't believe that he can afford all the shit he does to cars on,
Doing tune-ups and selling groceries.
which he can't. Dom takes a very dramatic bite of prawn and invites him to Race Wars, which I wish they'd stop calling it Race Wars. Michelle Rodriguez at Race Wars smokes the shit out of another guy who thinks women can't drive, because, did you know? Women can drive. Jesse's back in his slutty little sleeveless outfit. I missed him. But he's betting his dad's car in the race. Leon tells him he's stupid, which he is. He's racing Johnny Tran. It's not looking good. He loses, and when he loses, he zooms off into the desert. It's not looking good for Ash from Supernatural, not looking good for my boy. Johnny accuses Dom of being the narc. Dom just punches him in the face. Letty punches Lance in the face. Everybody starts fighting. Everybody's getting clocked in the jaw. Brian tells Mia he's the narc. Everything I ever felt for you was real, blah blah. Don't care, but it does mean that she agrees to help Brian track Dom after he warns her of all the shit that's gonna land on her friends when they pull off this next hijacking job. Because, oh yeah, of course they're the hijackers. They're the hijackers. They're the Panasonic ninjas. The job does not go to plan. First of all, no one wants to do it without Jesse, but
This ain't a democracy, man.
and Vin Diesel wants to do it, so they're doing it. Vince's arm gets, trapped and torn the hell up in a pulley system he had to, launch himself onto the truck.
Horrible to watch.
Getting shot at. Letty's car gets flipped, which is totally unrealistic survival, but whatever. Whatever keeps my gal Michelle alive. Everyone's shouting, everyone's yelling. It's all going horribly wrong. Brian comes to save the day. Mia's there also. He manages to get Vince just as he's getting shot at, but Vince is down. Vince is bleeding all over the place. Also, this is after there's a really extended long scene of them getting Vince off the truck or whatever. Also, the truck driver just drives away. He did not care at all. He shot a guy a few times and then he drove off. That's besides the point. Brian has to call Medivac to save Vince so he doesn't die. Dom finds out he's the narc. Genuinely looks like watching a lover's betrayal. It was like Vin Diesel looked like his wife had just told him she killed his brother or something. A few days later, maybe a few hours later, I don't really know, Brian pulls up to the Torettos because he wants to arrest Dom. They're both armed, they're both yelling at each other. But then, out of nowhere, Diva Jesse appears again, but he's begging for help. And it's too late because I hear motorbikes. The beautiful Asians are back. They start shooting so fast, it's hard to register that Jesse just gets shot and dies. So, RIP to a diva. Tom does this weird little crawl thing to miss the bullets, which I understand was necessary, but there's a big fat car chase scene where Dom launches a guy off his motorbike and Brian shoots Johnny Tran dead. He has a moment, but then he hops back in the whip. He's got to get Dom. He's got bigger things to worry about than a dead man. A man he just killed, I guess. I guess, or whatever. He pulls up next to Dom. They agree they're going to race after a green light. There's lots of revving, there's lots of machines, and they're neck and neck. They're neck and neck. They go over a train line just as a train is about to pass. That was pretty sick, I'll be real. But then just out of nowhere, Dom gets violently T-boned by a truck. Just absolutely thrashed, if you will. When Brian goes up to check he's alive, I guess, he's bleeding from his head and a bit sulky, but other than that, looks fine. Really fine for a man who was launched. Anyway, I guess people don't watch the Fast and Furious movies for realism. Instead of arresting him, Brian hands him the keys to his car, goes,
I owed you a 10-second call.
He's a bit teary-eyed. Dom looks like he doesn't really give a shit, I'll be real with you. He hops in the whip, he drives off. Brian dramatically walks off in slow motion. In a post-credit scene, Dom is driving somewhere. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, but I did genuinely enjoy myself? I did genuinely enjoy myself. I might watch Too Fast, Too Furious, but it's highly unlikely I'll watch any of the other ones. 2010's action movies lack the sauce that 2000's action movies had. Although I did miss all of Dom's talking about family. I thought that was a big thing. He didn't really mention family. The only guy who mentioned family was the boss that I don't know the name of. Maybe I will have to watch the other ones. But overall, hope you enjoyed this summary of 2001's The Fast and Furious as much as I love looking at Michelle Rodriguez. I don't know what NOS is, and I still can't drive. I'll check you later.